the San Diego Padres at Turner Field. The middle game of our three-game set is on deck next. It's another beautiful night for baseball in Atlanta. Big crowd filing in on a spectacular Saturday night. Tonight it's game 2 of our three-game series between the Braves and the San Diego Padres. Atlanta's magic number still stuck at 6 for the Eastern Division crown. Hi again, friends. Joe Simpson, Tom Glavine, Chip Carey back at Turner Field. The Padres spoiled the party last night. They picked up 4 runs against the Braves bullpen and won game 1 of the series by a 4-3 final score. David Hale pitched great in his big league debut, and veteran Chris Medlin, Mr. Glavine, hopes to follow suit tonight in the middle game of the series.
Well, if he continues to do what he's been doing over the last month or so, he'll follow suit and then some. He's been throwing the ball real well, doing a lot of the things that he was trying to find earlier in the season in terms of his consistency. Really done a nice job of finding his fastball and commanding that pitch and pitching off of that. Really sets up his breaking ball and his changeup. And I think for Chris, he's really tried to simplify things here the last third of the season, not think so much, just make pitches. You see his last 8 starts, 7-1 with a 2.75 ERA. So I think he's erased the problems for the early part of the year, really has his game on track going into the postseason, which the Braves couldn't ask for anything more than that. They got a spectacular outing from a young guy last night, and Joe, the Padres are going to throw a young guy, a prospect of theirs, of their own, out there tonight for the Braves to see.
Yeah, Robbie Erlin goes for the Padres. He's a left-hander out of the Texas organization. Padres got him for Mike Adams. He's had real good minor league numbers, not many walks and a lot of strikeouts. That hasn't exactly translated yet here to the big leagues, but you can see a good year for him at Tucson in AAA. He's been called up 3 different times by the Padres. He's got a low 90s fastball. He's not afraid to pitch in. He's got a decent curveball and a changeup. We'll see how he fares tonight against the Braves.
Hopefully he doesn't fare very well, for the Braves offense needs a lift. They've had trouble scoring runs over the last 10 games or so. And when we come back, we'll talk about the Braves bats looking to heat up here in the middle days of September. It's the Braves, it's the Padres, and we're back to Turner Field right after this. town for their lone visit to Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta lost a one-run affair to the San Diego Padres last night. And guys, 2 weeks left in the regular season. This up-and-down Braves offense appears to be in a down spell. Tommy, how concerned are you, if at all, this time of year?
Well, I think you have to be. I mean, it's been a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde throughout the course of the year. When the Braves have been playing good, the numbers have been really good. When they're not playing well, the numbers are not so good. Right now, they're in one of those stretches. You see their last 10 games, 3.3 runs a game, 197 batting average, 266 on-base percentage. Not very good with runners in short scoring position. So with 15 games left in the season, including tonight, Joe, that's certainly something they're going to want to look to improve upon.
A lot of times guys will tell you in spring training, hey, I just need 2 weeks to get ready. Let me see some live pitching. I'm ready to go. Well, for those guys that are scuffling, they've got 2 weeks to get ready for the postseason. Simmons is hitting about 263 in the month of September, but he's hitting a lot of extra base hits. Freddie's hitting 319, Chris Johnson 300. It's all the other guys that have got to pick up the pace. Last night it looked like Justin Upton and Brian McCann were ready to step up and start picking up that pace.
They hit a couple of homers for the Braves, but that was it for Atlanta. They scored just 3 runs. If they can get to 4, you like their chances. We'll see if they can do that against Robbie Erlin and the San Diego Padres in Game 2. Chris Medlin would love some early run support. He's red hot on the hill. He's 13-12. He goes for win number 14 tonight here at Turner Field. We had 34,000 last night. Might have as many, if not more, tonight for Game 2 of the series. Chris Medlin, you might recall, started the season 1-6. He's 13-12 right now. We asked his pitching coach, Roger McDowell, how Chris has turned things around.
He's commanding his fastball better. I think early in the year, he had a little bit of struggles with commanding the fastball, especially the second and third time through the lineup, and I think he's made it a point, and he's worked on it in the side sessions, and it's continued on during the game, and he's had success with it. And obviously with his secondary pitches, especially the changeup, him being able to use the fastball has been probably the biggest thing that, especially lately, the last month and a half, that he's been able to do on a consistent basis.
Well, I've talked about it many times. I don't care if you throw 100 or if you throw 85. If you can't command your fastball, you're going to struggle. And Roger summed it up right there. When you're able to command your fastball, number one, the hitter has to respect it, because no hitter wants to get beat by a fastball. Once you get them to respect that fastball, it makes your off-speed pitches that much better. And for Chris, as good as his changeup is, man, when he's got his fastball working, that's a really deadly combination, those two pitches.
he has certainly been on fire, and that's part of his 4 keys to pitching success tonight. The fact that he has been on a good run and has won 7 of his last 8 decisions. His 4 keys to pitching success, well, his timing is outstanding at this time of the season to be really pitching his best baseball going into the postseason. Outstanding for Chris and for the team. And in versus out. I think tonight against this ball club, we saw how successful David Hale was last night, running his sinker in on those guys, the ball really running in on them, and the Padres having some trouble. So tonight for Chris, even with his changeup, I think he'll be more successful in versus trying to keep the ball away from him.
Well, he's had success against the Padres. We talked about his last 8 starts, but you see his numbers there against the Padres in 2 starts, 2-0, over 17 innings, no walks, and 15 strikeouts. So I'm sure he'll try and learn a little bit from last night, but I wouldn't change too much of what he's been doing based on those numbers.
And here's the Padres lineup he'll face in Game 2 tonight. Will Venables going to lead off for San Diego. He's again in center. Denorfia, Jerko, and Headley, who homered here yesterday. Kyle Blanks is in left. Tommy Medica's at first. Ronnie Cedeno at short. Nick Hundley behind the plate. And young Robbie Erlin, the left-hander, is on the hill for the Padres. Beautiful night as Will Venables ready to go to work. Venable had an infield hit in 5 tries last night. And is batting .270, 22, and 52. The power numbers that leads the Padres club. And we're underway, ball 1. Official temperature tonight, 77 degrees. A gentle breeze blowing in toward the Padres dugout. And a perfect forecast is exactly right. Real refreshing weather last night and again tonight. 2-1 to Venable.
The Padres must feel like they're at home with this weather.
It's the truth.
There's the change, and it was a beaut. So there's the out and in sequence, but the pitch missed, and now a full count. Fouled at the plate. And still a full count to Princeton's Will Venable. Chris Denorfia is on deck. He'll be followed by Jed Jerko, the San Diego second baseman. Padres got all 4 of their runs in the late innings last night. 2 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th. And Medlin strikes out Venable to start the game. That's how last night's game began, with a swinging strikeout. 1 up, 1 down.
I think right there is the perfect example of talking about commanding the fastball. Like Roger said, third time through the lineup is when he struggles. Well, in that sequence right there, that second time through the lineup, you won't see Venable swing at that changeup, that 2-1 changeup, the way he did if he's not thinking that Chris can command his fastball. He'll look for a changeup in that count if Chris doesn't command his fastball, but then he's able to come back on that 2-strike pitch and just paint with a down and away fastball that I don't care what the count is. Hitter's not going to do much with that.
Yeah, it was a winner.
Chris Denorfia bats. He had a couple of hits and a sacrifice fly last night. So he's up to 43 runs batted in. And that's belt high, and it evens the count. Two. Tom Hellions raising that right arm a lot when Chris is on the mound tonight. Phil Cuzzi's at first, Chris Guccione's at second, and Mike Machlinski is the third base ump. In the air to right, but right at Upton. He's got it. 2 outs. Braves had a perfect night defensively last night. They've got Evan Gattis in left, Justin Upton's in right, B.J. Upton in center with a left-hander on the mound. Johnson, Simmons, Elliott Johnson again at second base with Freeman at first and Brian McCann behind the plate. Here's Jed Jerko. 4-game hitting streak. And a good-looking rookie hitter. In fact, Jerko leads all National League rookies in extra base hits this season. Fastball evens the count. Jerko had a first inning hit in game 1 of the set. He struck out twice in his other 4 at bats.
Chris threw a few more curveballs down in Miami than he has been throwing in recent starts, but that's because all of a sudden he had a good one, so he used it too. But before that, for about 5 or 6 starts, it was just 1 or 2 a game.
To third. Chris Johnson scoops and fires to first. Chris Medlin off to a good start. A strikeout, a flyout, and a ground out retires the Padres in the top of the first inning in order. Erlin, the young Padre left-hander. If you look at the top of the lineup card today, L.A. Johnson leads off at second base. Justin Upton's in right. Freeman, Gaddis, McCann, Johnson, Simmons, B.J. Upton 8th, and Chris Medlin 9th.
Robbie Erlin making his 7th start on the year. See his numbers this season: 8 games, 6 starts, 2.2 record, 5.5 ERA, and got really good minor league numbers.
His 4 keys to pitching success tonight: challenge in. He's got to be willing to do that, and he is. He likes that.
L.A. Johnson, a line drive into left center field, and a great grab by Venable to take away a hit.
That was great play. Big league play by a guy who, for the most part, we've seen him play right field, but with Cameron Maben injured, he's been forced into duty in center, and they don't get much better than that.
No, that's even tougher, being it's the first play of the game. You know, you like to get out there and kind of get settled in and see some things, but nope, bam, go get him. And he did.
That other key for Erlin, that arm side fastball, means, in this case, to Justin Upton, the outside corner to Justin, and he has a little trouble sometimes commanding that side of the plate to right-handed hitters.
But commanding the strike zone did not seem to be a problem for this kid throughout his minor league career. I mean, he racked up tons of strikeouts and didn't walk anybody. While pitching in the minor leagues with the Texas Rangers organization and now with San Diego.
just go show you how funny this game can be. I mean, here's a kid that had obviously the strikeout working in the minor leagues, hasn't been able to translate it into the major league level yet, and then you see Hale last night, who really wasn't a strikeout pitcher in the minor leagues, and he's striking everybody out last night.
Coming into this season, Robbie Erlin had struck out 368 minor league hitters. He had walked only 50, and he did that in 327 minor league innings.
Really good numbers.
Now a full count to Justin Upton. With the bases empty, 1 out. Freeman's on deck. Gaddis to follow. First inning in Atlanta. Justin Upton's hit the Georgia Lottery jackpot against his former Western Division rival San Diego.
A lot of games against him.
They're glad to see him go.
Fly ball center, and Venable a much easier play, and he's got it for out number 2.
I asked a scout tonight about the work of David Hale and how he did last night, what his opinion was, and he gave him very high marks. Said he thought his movement on his pitches was the thing that really set him apart from most guys who come up and have a lot of adrenaline and their pitches flatten out. But he said on a scale of 8, 8 being the best, he said his movement on his fastball was 7.
Wow. Well, he set a Braves record in his first big league start. 9 strikeouts in his big league debut. That covered 5 innings. As Freeman bats and fouls one away. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 more hits for Freddie last night, including a run scored. He came in ahead of Brian McCann's 2-run homer in the 4th. Good pitch, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, good curveball.
Sliced foul out of play. It's 2-2. Quick look at San Diego's defense. Blanks, Venable, and Denorfia in the outfield. Same infield alignment as last night. Nick Hundley starts behind the dish. And a ground ball towards second, and Jerko can't get it. So Freddie Freeman combs a 2-out single up the middle. And he's aboard in front of Evan Gaddis.
Cut down on his swing a little bit, behind in the count. Not a bad pitch from Erlin, but Freddie spoiled it.
Yeah, it was down. Probably maybe over the plate a little bit more than he wanted, but certainly down in the zone and got the ground ball you're always looking for, but as we've talked about so often, just not in the right spot.
Gaddis swings the first pitch and bounces to short. And Ronnie Cedeno makes the peg to second. That forces Freddie Freeman. And it ends the Atlanta first. We go to the second. No score. Our cap to David Hale. His big league debut last night was obviously a dream come true, but a wonderful major league moment, and it's our SunTrust shining moment too.
Yeah, that's one of those nights that you can't draw that up. I mean, you heard what the Braves were hoping. They were hoping to get 5 good innings out of him, and I don't know that David was probably hoping for much more than that, but boy, did he do a lot more than that. It was just impressive, and what a great night for his family.
Storybook stuff. Great start.
So David Hale, no decision in his big league debut, and Elizabeth Morrow has more on that.
Well, guys, I caught up with Mike Minor earlier today and asked him what he thought about Hale's performance, and he said last night he couldn't get a good angle or view on his sinker ball, and all the guys on the bench were talking about it, so he went into the clubhouse to watch it on TV. He said, to say I was impressed, you could definitely say that.
Well, Mike Minor wasn't the only one. Major League scouts that we talked to before today's game were raving, as Joe said a moment ago. And those replays of the strikeouts, you could see the movement that scout in particular Joe was talking about. It was exploding everywhere in the zone. So Chase Headley hits and pops one into left field. Evan Gaddis in a couple of steps. And Headley is retired. 4 up, 4 down for Medlin tonight.
One thing we didn't know last night, Frank Wren told me today, was that they actually shut Hale down for a month during the middle of the summer this year with a little bit of tenderness in his shoulder. And it cut down on some of his innings, but certainly healthy last night. Good to go.
This is Kyle Blanks. He's the San Diego left fielder. And he looks outside. While we have a minute, want to wish a happy birthday to the Colonel, Jerry Coleman, longtime Padre broadcaster, celebrating his 89th birthday today.
Coincidentally, it's Kid Nichols' birthday too, the Hall of Fame pitcher who pitched at the turn of the century. I think he and Jerry played together briefly. So happy birthday to both.
Yep. Ground ball toward third. And Chris Johnson gets Blanks. 2 outs.
Jerry Coleman was always one of those guys that I look forward to going out there to San Diego knowing you're going to have a conversation with him at some point in time. Just a fun guy, enjoyed the game, and usually had a funny story or two.
He's in the Padres Hall of Fame. He's won the Ford Frick Award. He's in the United States Marine Corps Sports Hall of Fame. Was a pilot and former manager of the Padres for a season. Longtime broadcaster, great guy.
Medal winning recipient in the war.
That's lined by Medica down the right field line, and he missed a double by a foot. And Medlin now ahead 0-2.
Speaking of Ford Frick, your dad's up for that, right?
Yeah.
That's right. We're going to get everybody in Braves country on board for that.
And for Pete Van Wieren and for Ernie Johnson.
That's
Agreed.
right.
And you can vote once a day. And I think the best way to do it is to go on Facebook. And that connection, there's a link to take you to the Baseball Hall of Fame where you can vote. Been doing that every day and rotating my vote every day.
No balls, 2 strikes for Tommy Medica up from Double-A San Antonio. That's yanked foul. We'll do it again.
BJ Upton better be ready. Hit 1 foul to first, 1 foul to third. It's going up the middle.
Foul again. Was some great games around the big leagues last night. Already some super finals today. Over in the American League, Oakland beat Texas again 1-0 today. Yu Darvish lost his 4th 1-0 game this season.
Is that right?
And now Oakland 5.5 games ahead of Texas. Rangers have lost 5 straight.
That run was in the first inning too.
Ground ball. Simmons off the tip of his glove, recovers and floats it to first. And Medica's aboard with 2 outs. We'll see how that's scored. Base hit. Very rare you don't see Andrelton Simmons field a ball cleanly.
Yeah, you're almost shocked when you don't see that ball go in his glove and see him make the play.
It is an exception. The ball did come up a little bit on him.
It's ruled an infield hit. Now Roddy Cedeno bats. And he singles to right field. San Diego will play it station to station with Nick Hundley coming up. Back-to-back hits with 2 outs.
See what that pitch was, Tom. If it's down and away like I think, it had the middle of the plate.
Yeah.
But I think with Cedeno, Hundley, to some extent even Headley, the cleanup hitter, you're doing them a favor working them away and not trying to keep them honest inside.
Well, and even more so, if you are going to go away, you better make sure it's down and away and not letting it leak over the plate like that pitch.
Downstairs to Hundley, 1 ball, no strikes. A couple of years ago, Hundley had a fine season for the Padres. He hit .288 in 82 games. Last year, hit $157 in 58 games and got sent to AAA. His numbers a bit better this season, hitting .236 with 11 homers. He was a second-round pick back in 2005. And played college ball at Arizona. Ground ball right side. Nice pick by Elliott, and the peg to first in time. Back-to-back hits for the Padres come with 2 outs, but they strand their first 2 in tonight's game. Brian McCann, Chris Johnson, and Andrelton Simmons are up for the Braves, looking for our game's first run. Braves baseball on Fox Sports South is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day. Robbie Erlin loosening up for his second inning of work against the Braves tonight. He gave up a 2-out hit in the first, but nothing else.
We're talking about the lack of offense so far this month, and time for these guys to start tuning it up. And I mentioned McCann and Upton, and they both hit home runs last night. This is Bryant's, but also remember the shot that he hit right back at Ian Kennedy that he caught. That might have been the turning point in the ball game, as it turned out. But last night, Justin hit a homer. He also hit a line drive up the middle for a hit.
Into the shift, Brian McCann grounds out to second on the first pitch of the frame, 1 out.
And I know Justin popped up tonight to center, but he had a real good swing at that and hit it right on the button, straight up. Brian's in that little rut right now that he gets into, that Chipper got into sometimes, where he just kind of rolled over early in the count, rolled over some pitches, and I don't want to call it giving away at bats, but they were at bats that you wanted to say, what was so good about that pitch that you had to swing at it?
Strike 2, Chris Johnson. Chris 0 for 3 last night. Michael Kadire now has opened up a 7-point lead on him for the batting title. Chris now tied with Andrew McCutcheon of the Pirates. He scalds one into center field, but Venable's there, and he's got it, 2 out. Here is Andrelton. Boston beat the Yankees again today, 5-1 Red Sox. That was Lester and Sabathia today at Fenway Park. Toronto beat Baltimore 4-3. How about Chris Davis? 50 home runs now for the Orioles. As Simmons pops one over the Braves dugout foul. First big leaguer to hit 50 home runs since Miguel Batista did it for Toronto a few years ago. He was back in
Jose.
2010.
I think it was Jose.
Did I say one? Excuse
No,
me.
you said Miguel.
Oh, Miguel. Excuse me. Yes. Thank you.
Miguel was a real good hitting pitcher.
Yes, thank you. Well, I was thinking about him with the Strasburg game and Miss Iowa. So
that's right.
So thank you, Joe. It was the hitting Batista, not the pitching Batista for Toronto. An off-speed pitch had Simmons off stride, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
One of the writers on ESPN.com today did a profile on Andrelton, called him the best defensive player in baseball, period, and compared him favorably to Ozzie Smith.
Can't argue. Those defensive runs saved, and the bat's coming to life too. Not this time, however, as he pops out and the Braves are retired in order. Pitcher spot to first for San Diego as we go to the 3rd inning scoreless.
Well, more progress for Jason Hayward, day 2 of taking batting practice today before the game, and he said he felt like he's hitting the ball harder as we watched him hit a few balls out. Everything going in the right direction, Jason Hayward said, but most importantly, he's just excited to have back-to-back days on the field with his teammates.
We have a good group here, and I think everybody really missed me while I was gone. They missed me not being out there playing every day. Not just not as a player, but as a person. I really care about this group of people, and I'm pulling for them 100% while I'm not there, and I really wish to be back with them soon.
He also added that there's been no adjustment time getting used to his specialized helmet, and that this whole time he's felt safe, never second-guessing anything. Chip?
Thank you, Elizabeth. That's certainly good news. As Hayward begins to make his way back, I know a lot of fans have wondered, what does that protective device on the helmet for Hayward look like? I'll show you in a second.
Well, if their kids play Little League, they've seen it.
Erlin takes a call, 3rd strike. Tom Hallion with his distinctive strike 3 call.
Yeah, there's a little Frank Pulley in that.
Yeah, he did.
There's the add-on protection for Jason on his helmet. Perfect extension to help protect the jawline.
I asked Jason when he got back to the ball club after the initial surgery and he was wearing the helmet in the locker room. Obviously it was a different look, a different feel for him, and he said he notices that it's there as Venable tries to bunt, and Medlin takes care of that for the 2nd out. But guys, he said he can see the flap, but he said, I'm not looking there, so it doesn't bother me.
If he just wears it around a little bit, it'll become second nature, just like ear flaps did to all of us when they became mandatory.
Yeah, it's like anything. You know, you're such creatures of habit. It's not what you're used to, but, you know, and I'm sure he feels a little bit confined with it, you know, because it does close up his peripheral vision just a little bit, not to the point where it's going to affect him seeing the ball, but you know, he's going to notice it. But you're right, the more he wears it, the more second nature, the less he'll worry about it.
And breaking ball to Chris DeNorfia, strike 1 to him. He lined out to right field in the 1st inning. I don't think anybody really knows yet what the timetable for Hayward is. Obviously, when he was in the lineup and leading off, the Braves offensively were as dynamic and as high-powered as any team in baseball. Since Hayward's gotten hurt, it's affected the top of the batting order, it's affected the middle of the batting order, and it's certainly affected the bottom of the batting order. And the graphic we showed you earlier tonight is a perfect indicator of the offensive struggles without him.
Yeah, I think there's a perfect case scenario. Whether or not that happens, we'll see. But you know, look, you got 2 weeks left in the season. Tomorrow, I don't think construction league starts till what, Wednesday? Monday it starts.
But I asked Frank tonight around the cage if he would be reporting Monday, and he said we don't know yet.
And I think that's part of it. They just don't know, and you would hope he can get a few at bats there, and then hopefully get the last week of the season here. If not the last week, at least that last series, you know, because I think it's going to be a twofold thing. He's going to have to get some at bats initially in instruction league, feel good, and then he's going to have to get up here and feel good against big league pitching.
For me, Frank saying we don't know, that's not a no. It's not a yes, but it's not a no. So best case scenario, I would guess, would be Monday. Best case.
Probably, yeah. I think best case, and I think that's right for them to say they don't know. I mean, I think it really is. They got to take it a day at a time and see how he feels.
Chris Medlin feels good tonight. He's got his 3rd strikeout, and he just struck out DeNorfia to send this game to the bottom of our 3rd inning. Pow, fastball, inning over. Upton, Medlin, and Elliott Johnson coming up for the Braves. by Delta Airlines and by Ford. No score. B.J. Upton leads off the home third for the Braves. And he takes a called strike.
I think he's going to have a good night tonight. His timing, his footwork, and everything was really good in batting practice. Driving the ball to right center. He had a good round of BP.
Out at the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Upton's one of the Braves. It's had a rough September. 5 for 31 this month.
Yeah, but just prior to that, he was in a good stretch and a good groove, and thanks in large part to getting that front foot down early.
That straightened him up inside, but it's a full count. Medlin's on deck. And he'll come to the plate with Upton at first, a leadoff walk. There's a start for Atlanta. First walk for Mr. Erlin. Braves country, join us for Fan Appreciation Week at Turner Field from Monday, September 23rd through Wednesday, the 25th. All fans in attendance for the Brewers series get a voucher for a free ticket to a 2014 Braves game of their choice. Visit Braves.com/fans for details. Let's see how Atlanta plays it with Medlin. He can handle the bat. And he popped up a bunt foul. Strike 1.
This is only his 8th at bat right-handed. 42 at bats left-handed. And he has 1 sacrifice right-handed. I asked him early in the season, are you better bunter left or right? And he said, and he was nodding like way better left-handed. So we'll see how he does here.
No balls, 2 strikes. These are important postseason tune-up at bats, are they not?
Absolutely.
This is the kind of stuff you got to do. This is what you worry about when you have a lead like this, is that you're not bearing down in these situations. I mean, I know Chris is, but that's the concern you have.
Upton's running, and Medlin fouled it away. He tried to bunt 3 times and just struck out.
I wish he would have taken that.
Yeah. BJ had that stolen easily, didn't he? So it's a strikeout, first for Erlin tonight, and Upton's back at first on the foul ball for Elliott Johnson.
It's a hard thing to make yourself not attempt to bunt it, but you got to also out of the corner of your eye be able to read that he got a good jump, and at the very least take a chance, pull it back. If they ring you up, you know he had a chance to still steal it.
Yeah, called third strike there was as good as a sacrifice. Sounds weird to say. So now Elliott bats. He was robbed by Venable to start the game. This one's popped toward Jerko at second. He's got that for the second out of the inning. 2 outs for Justin. Coming into tonight's game against the Padres among active players on the Braves roster, Justin Upton and Freddie Freeman this year combined for 12 hits against San Diego. The rest of the team also had 12 hits. That explains how San Diego's won the first 4 games of this season series. 3 1-run decisions, 1 2-run decision for San Diego.
Last 17 games against the Braves. Earlier tonight on Braves Live, I fudged a little bit. San Diego's 11-6 in those 17 games, but 6 of those wins, 6 of the 11 are 1-run wins.
BJ wandered too far. A bad throw to first, and a throw to second's going to get him anyway. Terry Pendleton's arguing with Phil Cuzzi about a balk move. And B.J. Upton's asking about that as well. The pickoff throw to first was terrible, but a great dig out by Medica. And the throw to second retires Upton. And it ends the Atlanta third. Looked like B.J. got in under the tag, but he's rung up by Chris Guccione, and still no score. Elliott Johnson popped out, and then B.J. was picked off. He thought a balk was committed, but he was the third out of the innings. Back to work goes Chris Medlin with a 2-hit shutout so far, and pitching well again into the month of September, which is always good to see.
It's our Coors Light cold hard fact. His numbers in September the last 3 years, outstanding. 6-0, 1.38 ERA, second best ERA to Cliff Lee over that stretch. Sub 200 average is just not much to improve on there. That's just outstanding.
A strike to Jed Jerko. Bounced out to third, and the Padres' first inning tonight.
I guess Chris has really bought into the "it's not how you start, it's how you finish" motto.
Talked to Chris about his work on the mound when times were tough earlier this year. As a roller to the left side is gloved by Chris Johnson, and his throw on the run gets Jerko for the first out. And Chris finally said, look, I got to the point where I just said the heck with it. I'm not thinking about my arm angle. I'm not thinking about where the pitches are going. I'm not thinking about maybe going to the bullpen. I'm just going to go out, pitch, turn it loose, and see what happens.
Well, and it's funny because I had a conversation with him tonight too, and I said, so, give me kind of a breakdown of where you're at compared to where you were. And his thought was he kind of looks at it as three parts of the season. The first part, he pitched well, just didn't get results. The second part, he was too result-oriented, where he was fighting himself too much to try and go out there and make something happen. And then this last third of the season, it's just been, give me the ball and let me try and make a pitch. And to me, that's the best way to go about doing it. And I know for me personally, anytime I would go through a year where, and you go through it where at some stretch you don't have your confidence, either you're not pitching well, you don't feel comfortable, or whatever the case may be, you go through all that stuff, and inevitably I always got to the point where it was, you know what, just let's keep it simple. Give me the ball, let me make a pitch, and let me try and do it again.
Did you early in your career, Tommy, after you won 20 the first time, did you feel like you had to justify 20 wins the next couple of years afterward? Because we all know the run that Medlin was on last year.
Well, yeah, no, you always had something to justify. At least I felt like I did. And I said that a lot about Chris earlier in the year, that, his 1-6 record was extremely deceiving. He was throwing the ball well, just wasn't getting the results. And in such a result-oriented business, that's what people focus on. But I think a large part of it was because, yeah, everything went so well for him last year that you're just scratching your head going, what's going on?
Broken bat, but right at Andrelton Simmons, who had Chase Headley. Played perfectly. 2 out.
He gave up a bunch of homers early too, and I think that sometimes will make you question if I've really got the stuff I had last year or not.
Right.
But look at these home road splits. 18 homers allowed. That's not a ton, but only 4 here at home. And I think that's consistent with just about everybody on the team in terms of home road splits. Everybody likes pitching in Turner Field.
Well, and the numbers bear it out, both as far as the team record's concerned and as far as the pitching numbers are concerned.
Yep.
Yeah, the Braves are 16-12 in Medlin starts this year. And in his regular season starts for his career, Atlanta an astounding 42-16.
Of course, that goes back to something Fred McGriff said about this ballpark when they designed it. He said they talked to Maddox and Glavine, they didn't talk to us.
Another broken bat. And this one out of reach of Elliott Johnson. Kyle Blanks is aboard with a 2-out single.
I don't know that I would characterize this as a pitcher's ballpark. To me, I just think it's fair. You know, there are times where it's tough to get one out of here, and then there are times in the summer when it's hot and humid where the ball just flies. But you know, I think by and large, there aren't too many balls hit here that are home runs that you don't think should have, and nor are there too many that you think, man, how did that not get out of here? You know,
we got to get you down to Miami and see that place in person. You'd have won 900 games if you pitched there.
Well, if you can keep it to the big part of the ballpark, especially there, you're going to do okay.
There is no non-big part.
Well, they got that one really big part, though, right?
Yeah, right out in center field with Joe's favorite piece of baseball artwork.
Yeah, I love it.
Tommy Medica has an infield hit. And a bouncer foul over the Padres dugout. Strike one. Great crowd tonight on a perfect night. As we said, the Braves had over 34,000 here last night. Well above that this evening, and tomorrow it's Bark in the Park Day as we wrap up the series with San Diego.
Only 3 games back to Medlin's homers. 3 games where he's given up 2 or more in one game, and he's gone 1 and 2 in those games. At Detroit, at San Francisco, oddly, and here against Philly.
To third, Chris has it, and he throws a laser across in time, and that retires San Diego in the 4th. Never too early to say, let's get some runs at Turner Field. Right guys are up for Atlanta in the bottom of the inning.
Actually, bottom of the fourth, actually. Time for our Coors Light freeze cam. How about this guy? Brought his glove to the game. Oh, and he booted it. Or did he? See? Had his glove up. He was ready. Oh. Springboard. Or was it?
Upon further review.
Oh, no.
That's why you got to inspect your equipment.
The Coors Light freeze can brought to be frost brewed. Brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
What do you think his date was saying?
Man, the glove's probably been sitting in the garage forever.
Justin Upton leads things off. He flied to center his first time up tonight. And that's a little low. We'll keep you up to date on the Nationals score tonight. Washington leads the Phillies 1-0. That's Cole Hamels for the Phillies. And Gio Gonzalez for the Nationals, who have a 7-game winning streak. They're 4.5 out in the wild card. Little fly ball, shallow right center. That's going to drop for a leadoff hit. When he starts hitting the ball that way, he starts to heat up.
Well, that's so funny because Jeff Porter and I were having this conversation down in Miami about the players were giving Chris Johnson some grief because he was getting some flare hits. And Jeff Porter, the trainer for the Braves, walked over to Justin and said, how many little bloops do you think you got this year? And Justin said, oh, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 tops. And that was my guess, too. So it's good he got one here. Maybe that's the tonic to get him going.
Freddie Freeman had a first inning hit. All of a sudden, Freddie Freeman is climbing in that batting race. He's at .312 now. He's 8th in hitting. Next up is Yadier Molina of the Cardinals at .315. Alan Craig at .315. Matt Carpenter, the Cardinals, also in the mix. He's at .317.
He's going to
pitching him real carefully.
Sorry, Chip. He's going to throw that slow curve in one too many times to Freddie. And Freeman's going to lose it.
Sharply hit in the right field. Upton had to wait for that ball to whistle by, otherwise it would have hit him in the foot. Freeman's 2 for 2. 2 on, nobody out.
Well, remember last night the Braves only got 5 hits. And Justin and Freddie had 4 of them. McCann's homer was the other one. Tonight they already have all 3 of their hits. 3-0 count. Fastball away. Freddie didn't try to do too much with it.
No, if you're going to swing 3-0, that's how you want to see a guy hit a ball.
Let's see if Evan Gattis can work the count and pop one. Evan's 5-game hit streak ended last night. But in his last 10 games, he has 11 hits, 4 homers, and 10 RBIs. He's sitting on 19 homers for the year. Outside, ball 1.
You know how some guys can't hit on 3-0 counts? They just overswing, pop one up. They've got a good pitch, and you see a grimace on their face. Freddie Freeman this year on 3-0 counts is 4 for 5 with 17 walks. Kind of like when he's hit with men in scoring position. Got it down.
And a swung at the first pitch tonight. He's taken the first 2 here. Fly ball center. Venable is there. And there'll be no advance. 1 out. Here's Brian McCann. Brian grounded out second his first time up.
It'll be interesting to see how they set their defense now. Been putting a big shift on for him.
It's a great stat online last night. Our friends at ESPN said that with McCann's 20th home run last evening, he joins Piazza, Bench, and Berra as the only catchers with 6 consecutive 20-plus homer seasons.
Good company.
And it's really 6 or more, but 6 is the bottom of that boundary, I guess the way you put it. His homer last night made it 3-0 in the fourth. He's got a chance to do the exact same thing here. No score, 2 on, 1 out. That's scalded to right, but foul. Lefties wear this guy out. Erlin allows a .319 batting average to left-handed hitters so far in the big leagues. Freeman's 2 for 2. And that one just foul at first.
It's that slow curve. Well, some of that left-handed average against him may go to one of the Ford keys tonight, which was arm side command with his fastball. He might have a little trouble with lefties.
Have a little trouble pitching into lefties, and certainly must be having a little bit of trouble with his secondary pitch, whether it's his breaking ball or his changeup, making that be as big a weapon for him against left-handed hitters.
One ball, 2 strikes. Chris Johnson waits on deck. Two of those in a row miss.
They were bad breaking balls.
Popped up left side. Will this stay in play? It will not. Chance for Chase Headley. We'll do it again.
Brian got jammed a little bit there, but he may have gotten jammed because he was trying to just fight that off, looking for something more middle in again, and jammed himself. I mean, middle away rather, and jammed himself. Good cut there.
He's reeling him in, we hope.
A little bit up.
He's trying to go down and away, but he's not getting it there.
Three and two. Popped up, but this one will stay in play. And McCann spikes the bat. Headley in foul ground makes the play. And that's the second out of the inning. Gaddis flied out. McCann pops out. Upton and Freeman are still aboard for Chris Johnson. Can Chris Johnson pick up a big 2-out hit for the Braves? Done it all year, as you see our Academy Sports and Outdoor leaderboard. Batting average leaders since July 14th.
every one of those guys. I mean, our fans, I think, are coming to know that Will Venables had a good year with his 22 homers, 52 RBIs playing in this series. But Hunter Pence has had a really good year for the Giants.
He hit his 22nd home run yesterday. As Johnson, a base hit to left with 2 outs. Here comes Upton around third. It's 1-0 Atlanta. Chris Johnson's 22nd hit with runners in scoring position and 2 outs this season gives Chris Medlin a lead.
Falling in love with that curveball this inning.
Yeah, he has. Big, slow one, and you saw it, and that's the trouble when you throw that big, slow one. You saw Chris initially get out in front of it a little bit because it was so big and slow. He was able to kind of regather his hands and stay back long enough to drive that ball through the hole.
So the 4th inning is golden for Atlanta for the 2nd time in the series. Now Simmons will try to add on with 2 outs.
Braves have broken through here in the middle of their 2nd time through the order. And when we were in Philadelphia, Chip, we were talking about, hey, you can't be all down in the mouth about losing to Cliff Lee and Cole Hamels. Those guys are quality left-handed pitchers, postseason type guys. I'm not ready to put Robbie Erlin in his 7th big league start in that category. So hopefully, as this game goes on, and now that they've had an at-bat or 2 against him, they'll make some adjustments and be able to get to him.
I was going to say the same thing that applied for David Hale has to apply for Erlin. Big advantage, first time or 2 through the order. As Simmons drives one deep left center field. Blanks goes back, and he's going to get there on the warning track. And that retires the side. The wind might have knocked that one down a bit. Anderson hit it awfully hard. Chris Johnson hit a breaking ball hard into left field. It brought home Justin Upton with the game's first run in the Braves' 4th. Coming up in the top of the 5th inning. Time for our AT&T Uverse trivia question. We are on an amazing roll. I know we've gotten at least one in a row right. Who's the only player in Padres history with a 25 homer, 25 stolen base season? Dave Winfield.
It's a good one.
It's a good guess.
That's my guess.
Mike Cameron.
Ooh. Cedeno leads off, takes a called strike. The homer part's tough because Jack Murphy / Qualcomm and Petco Park are not exactly hitters' parks.
No.
Brian Giles. Did he ever 25 steals as a Padre?
He'd be a good choice too. I don't think Gary Templeton hit enough homers at Jack Murphy in those days.
One ball, 2 strikes. Inside. 3-2. Tell you this, as a kid, never really liked the brown and mustard colored Padres uniforms. I like this version a lot better. Pop fly foul by Cedeno. It's still a full count.
I don't know. I thought the quintessential baseball player that probably should have been on all the MLB posters was Dave Freisleben in his mustard and brown.
Bouncing ball to short. Simmons has it. And Cedeno's the first out. 1 away in the top of the 5th.
Fans, come celebrate College Week with your Atlanta Braves, September 23rd through the 26th. Students who show their valid college ID at the ticket window will receive 50% off upper box tickets for all 4 games. So get your friends together and take a study break at Turner Field. We're not condoning that, are we? Study breaks? After you get your studies done, come on out to Turner Field, September the 23rd to the 26th for College Week.
Spoken like a parent of a college student.
Exactly.
By the way, with Jonathan and Amber out of the house, it's got to be a little quieter around there, huh?
You know, it's funny how some days with all the chaos, you can't wait for some peace and quiet, and now that you have it, it's like, God, it's awful quiet around here.
Yeah, where did everybody go? I'll bet our pal Peyton, though, thinks he's in charge of things now, doesn't he?
He thinks he's the head honcho now, so yeah.
2 balls, no strikes to Nick Hundley. And another ground ball for Simmons. Plays it off to the side and loads up. 2 out. Chris looking good again. As we told you earlier tonight, he's won 7 of his last 8 decisions with an ERA of 2.75. Pitching like he did last year for Atlanta. That's always welcome. Here's Erlin. And he looks low. 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah, that's the other thing, too, with his fastball command that we talk about. Another good example there, that last hitter, 2-0 count. Now he can go to that fastball and down and get a ground ball instead of having to go off speed.
Phillies have tied Washington. That's in the 5th inning. 1-1 at Nationals Park. Go Phillies go. Atlanta's magic number at 6. And a combination of Braves wins and Nationals losses that add up to 6. And Atlanta owns the East.
I'm hoping that's a good party. You know, it's been a while.
Yep.
For a division party. A couple of wild card flags up there, you know, but for a division title, magic number down to 6.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And that just missed. I think that's what's so exciting about this club. Veteran guys who paved the way for this current crop, the Glavine, Smoltzes, Maddoxes, Chipper Jones, they've retired. These guys want to start their own run of divisional success. As Medlin walks the pitcher, that's bad walk. In a 1-run game. Now Venable, the team home run leader, bats with a man aboard. Venable has struck out, and he tried to bunt in the third inning. Medlin retired him. And a strike called. Wrap things up with the Padres here tomorrow. Then it's off to Washington. The Braves have set their rotation for the set with the Nationals. Minor, Garcia, and Wood will pitch for the Braves. Heron, Tanner Roark, and a pitcher to be named will pitch on Wednesday for Washington. Strasburg was scratched last night. The soft tissue on top of the forearm was the official designation of his inability to pitch last night. They're hoping he could go after Atlanta leaves town on the 19th, but that's certainly possible. He could move up a day. Ground ball to Simmons, who had Venable played perfectly. He'll step on the bag, and that forces Erlin and ends the San Diego fifth. Chris Medlin leads off. He leads by a run at home. By the Georgia Lottery, by the Home Depot, and by Toyota. 1-0 Atlanta. We head to the home half of the fifth inning. Joe Simpson, Tom Glavine, Elizabeth Morrow along for the ride tonight. Atlanta trying to win their first game of the season against San Diego. While we have a moment, we will remind you the new college football show is back from the SEC to the Pac-12. Watch James Bates and Coach Tommy Bowden every Thursday for an in-depth coverage of the week's best matchups. You can watch the new college football show every Thursday at 7 on Fox Sports South. B.J. Upton, Chris Medlin, and Elliott Johnson are coming up. B.J. walked and was picked off in the third. 0-1. Hey, Phillies take a 4-1 lead in the fifth inning. Behind Cole Hamels.
Oh, boy, it was a high strike.
Two and one. In the air to center, Venable, a roundabout route, but he gets there in time. And Upton is the first out of the inning. Mentioned Hunter Pence and his home run last night. You know who the Giants beat last night? Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
Clayton Kershaw now. Some are saying he is the front runner for the Cy Young Award in the National League. He's now 14-9.
Yeah. Somebody needs to get off that high horse and start looking in the Braves bullpen.
All right. He's leading the charge in the MVP talk, too.
Swing and a miss by Medlin. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hanley Ramirez, by the way, was injured a couple of days ago. It's not a hamstring.
It's not?
He has an irritated nerve in his back that required a cortisone shot. Hanley Ramirez is out for a couple of days. They're hoping he can play next week. He missed a month, you recall, with a hamstring problem earlier this season. And when he came back along with Puig, the Dodgers took off. So the Giants play the Dodgers later on tonight. LA, one of those teams trying to catch the Braves for the best record in the National League. They're 2 back in that regard. And that one got Hundley and it got Tom Hallion. You heard him grunt as he goes to a knee. And Jim Lovell, the Braves assistant athletic trainer, will make his way to the plate.
I hope it didn't get inside between the mask and the chest protector like a collarbone area.
Ooh. Right up underneath the right side of it.
You know, the catchers and the umpires are so well protected equipment wise, but anything that gets redirected, like off, maybe a hitter gets hit with a pitch and then it comes in at a funny angle, or a foul ball, as the case there, off the catcher, then into his neck and collarbone area. There's nothing there. He hasn't even taken his mask off.
You know, we talk all the time too about how good teams don't want to see their players get hurt this time of year. The game doesn't want to see its good umpires get hurt either, because you start thinking about postseason assignments and the importance of every play, every call. Tom Hallion's a real good umpire. Hopefully he's going to be able to continue tonight, and hopefully it's nothing serious.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I do something and I get hurt, man, I just start sweating like a crazy man. And he hasn't even taken his mask off. Tough cookie. Whew. Off the catcher's mask and then up under his, into the neck and collarbone. Did.
Going, Chris is saying, I'll really try to hit it the other way this time.
Yeah. Trying to make some brownie points. Well, if anybody can make him laugh, Chris can.
Hallion stunned for a moment. And Medlin digs back in with a 2-2 count. Away. Now Erlin's gone to a full count to the pitcher. And Chris strikes out. 2 outs. Delta Airlines is a proud sponsor of the Atlanta Braves. We'll be back on our charter with our pal Mac Honey and the gang tomorrow afternoon. Head to Washington, then Chicago. That's the end of the road schedule during regular season play. Then we're back home for the final homestand of the season. Elliott Johnson swings and misses. He's hit the ball in the air twice. Freddie Gonzalez has said he would play matchups for the most part with B.J. Upton and Dan Uggla. Oftentimes those guys would play against a left-handed pitcher. But Elliott Johnson's been real hot with the bat, so he gets the start instead of Dan tonight. Elliott can switch hit as well for Atlanta. That's not to say that Dan might not see action later in the game this evening. Elliott's gotten the bulk of the play out there. Braves trying to find offense, and they'll get some here with 2 outs.
I think another side of that too, Chip, is, and Freddie didn't tell me this, but when a left-hander's pitching, Schaefer typically is going to be on the bench, so that limits with Hayward out who your leadoff guys are. And E.J. Elliott is swinging the bat pretty well right now, better than B.J. if you're going to play B.J. Upton, put him at the leadoff spot. So I think that may have factored in some tonight too.
I think you're right. It's a good call, Joe. So Elliott's 2-out single keeps the inning alive for Justin Upton. He singled in the 4th and has scored the game's only run. Good work for Justin against the Padres, a club with which he's very familiar as a former Arizona Diamondback. Runner goes, huge jump, and Elliott Johnson has maybe his easiest stolen base of the year. His 5th as a Brave.
He's 19 out of 20 now. He got caught down in Miami the other night for the first time. And one of the things that we heard about him when the Braves first got him was that he's a smart player. He knows how to play. And that goes to being able to read pitchers too. He's really good at it.
So a hit means a run. Let's see if Erlin makes a mistake to Upton. Fly, slicing foul. 2 balls and a strike.
It looked like a pretty good arm side fastball there. Had a little movement out to the end of Justin's bat. Looked like a better pitch to hit than the way it ended up.
Yeah, finish. A much better finish on it.
You mentioned this is his 7th start. He's allowed 2 earned runs or less in 4 starts this year. He's had 1 bad game. As Erlin, as he gives up a hit to right field, rounding third is Elliott. The throw to the plate is going to be in time as Hundley blocked the plate beautifully. Upton with a sharp single to right field. Kristen Orfia came up firing, and he picks up his 10th assist of the season, and it erases a scoring threat for the Braves in this 5th inning. A perfect throw retires the side, and we head to the 6th in Atlanta. Still 1-0 Braves in front. good ball game in the middle game of the series.
Now, we didn't know a whole lot about Robbie Erlin coming into this start, but he's trying to do what he's been doing, and that's hold a team under 2 runs in recent starts. And Chris Medlin, same as he's been his last 8 or 9 starts, Tommy.
Yeah, he's continuing the good work that he's had going on here the last month or so, month and a half, locating his fastball down in the zone, both sides of the plate, getting ground balls, mixing in his off-speed pitches effectively. Hasn't thrown as many breaking balls tonight, I don't think, but been effective around the zone. And then Chris Johnson doing what he's been doing all year long, get the Braves their lone run with a base hit.
So how many times do you see it? Guy makes a perfect throw, leads off the next inning. And Denorfia bounces to short. Simmons has been busy. Perfect throw, 1 out. There's another interesting part of that play, and it's really become a rarity in our sport. How about the way Nick Hundley blocked the plate and totally barricaded any chance that Elliott Johnson had to score with his shin guards?
2 things. 1, he knew who was running. 2, he had plenty of time to catch it and defend himself and the plate. I'm just glad that Elliott didn't get hurt there on a crash with a shin guard.
Yeah, I think the second part was the biggest key of that. He had plenty of time to catch it, find out where Elliott was coming from, and brace himself for the collision.
Okay, you guys played a long time in the games. Jed Jerko bats. There's been some talk in baseball this year about Major League Baseball eliminating this play from our sport. A, do you think it'll happen? And B, what do you think of that idea?
You know, is it an issue where we need to eliminate the play because that's causing the injuries, so to speak, or is it because the guys don't do it properly and that's causing the injuries? To me, I just don't think guys know how to do it anymore. You know, if you're going to sit in that position that he was in, and there's a bang bang play at the plate, then you deserve to get run over, because if you're not going to give that guy the plate, then that's what's going to happen.
Jerko is out on strikes. That's out number 2 in the inning. Well, the old-time catchers will tell you, why should I give the base runner anything? I mean, isn't that the way that Mike Scioscia used to play? I mean, he'd camp out in front of the plate down the third baseline.
But there are catchers who knew how to set you up for that, who would plant a foot in front of home plate, but didn't block the whole plate because they were giving a reasonable doubt to maybe the throw's not going to be right on the money and I'm going to have to move anyway. But if it was on target, and they knew where the runner was going, and all they had to do basically was sit down, and that's what Scioscia would do. He'd just sit down on you.
Well, Mike Scioscia was a big body back there, so not a lot of guys were going to run him over. But you're right, he was so good at just sitting there and letting you think you had room to slide underneath him or between his legs, and then the minute you went into your slide, he just crushed that shin pad on you and you never got there.
And probably never wanted to do it again.
No.
Right? To left, Gaddis is there and Headley is retired. Chris Medlin rolling along. He's got a 1-run lead and looking for some insurance in the 6th. Freddie Freeman leads our Delta Airlines on deck offensive trio when we come right back. play, guys. You can leave the analysis to the analysts. And tomorrow's Chevron pitching matchup is a treat. Braves fans know all about Julio Teheran. Fellas, tell us all about Birch Smith.
Well, that wasn't my job. I was supposed to tell you about Teheran. 12-7 on the year, having a good year, and looking to keep things going into the postseason. And Joe, what do you know about Mr. Smith?
Well, he's actually out of the University of Oklahoma, fellas.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Listen to you. 0-1, not a very good ERA. It'll be his 5th start, his 8th appearance. 5 homers allowed in his first 17 innings. That's not a good sign for him. And a .325 average against him. But he's a right-hander, 6'4", 215, and he's an ex-Sooner, so watch out.
Freddie Freeman unloads deep left. Blanks back at the wall. That one's long gone. 2-0. RBIs for Freeman. That's his 21st homer.
He's just having a great year, isn't he?
MVP. Just saying.
I don't know why the fans can't start that chant a little bit, you know.
Well, he's up to 314 now.
Yeah.
Added 4 points tonight with another 3-for-3 game. Freddie's now hit 11 of his last 12 for the Braves.
Chip and I will tweet it, and we'll get that started tomorrow.
Yeah, let's get that chant going.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
One of the things that's going to hurt both Kimbrel and Freddie is that the Braves aren't on the schedule for any national broadcasts down the stretch because they've had this big lead.
Look at that swing by Gaddis. It's golfed out to short. Cedeno throws him out.
There are other races going on that are more compelling, so the Braves are kind of left out in the cold on that. As a result, nobody nationally is going to be talking about these guys. And the fastball belt high. I mean, that's Tommy. We've got a swing on tape as you look at this one in slow motion. That is so pretty. That was a home run down in Miami. That if there are little league dads out there that have their tape machines going or their DVR, they ought to record it and play it for every kid.
Well, he's.
We'll do this. We'll do it after Brian McCann gets his base hit.
He's got a pretty swing no matter what. When he's got it going, it's just, and it's to all parts of the field. That's what makes him so hard to get out. I mean, you can't. There's not a certain way you can attack him to keep him to one side of the field.
And it's not like late in the ball game you can bring in a lefty specialist to wear him out either.
Yeah, he hits lefties. He hits with runners on base. He hits in clutch situations. He hits the ball to left. He hits the ball to right. As McCann takes a call, 3rd strike, and he knew it. That's out number 2.
I'm not going to say anything. You just watch this. See what you think.
Well, out over that front leg. Hips are rotating. Head down. Barrel of the bat or ball out in front of home plate. And when he hits the ball, nice backspin on that ball. When you get backspin on that ball, it's going to go a long way.
Is that not just beautiful?
Beautiful finish.
Head still.
And remember, he missed 2 weeks. And the oblique problem.
Yeah, I forget about that. I forget about the fact that he's closing in on 100 and missed 2 weeks.
No balls and a strike for Chris Johnson. Remember, at the time, Freddie wasn't happy that he was placed on the disabled list before the Braves hit the road. They got him back in Colorado. But had he played through that, had he aggravated that, how differently would his season have gone? We'll never know that. But the 2 weeks then, I think, paid big dividends now.
Sure. And don't lose all the talk about his offensive game. Don't lose sight of what he does defensively for this team, too.
Chris Johnson has another hit. He's 2 for 3. Another multi-hit game for him.
How many is that?
Let me look.
Mr. Play-by-play guy.
Oh, here we go. Let me get out my abacus. Hang on a second. While you guys analyze that replay, I'll check for it. Chris Johnson now has 48 multi-hit games. Freeman has 47 of them. Braves have 322 as a club. Here's Simmons. And he shoots one to right. Denorfia sprints and gets there and retires the side. Freddie Freeman leads off the 6th inning with an opposite field home run. Number 99 in the RBI column, and that extends the lead for Atlanta 2-0. Johnson with 2 outs that brought home a run. Freddie Freeman hit a solo home run. And Chris Medlin's got a 3-hit shutout through 6 frames here in Atlanta. All year long, Braves baseball on Fox Sports South is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day.
MVP.
Chris Medlin making a bid to be the most valuable pitcher for Atlanta in the second half. Remember, he started 1-6. He's rolling. He's 13-12 now, and is trying to win his 8th game in his last 9 decisions.
And I don't know if it was you, Chip, or if it was Tom that said this maybe last night about how he's pitching great at the right time of year, but he's the only guy really with any experience in a postseason game, having pitched so well last year against the Cardinals in that wild card game. Defense let him down, but he pitched an excellent game.
Well, don't ask Freddie Gonzalez if you meet him at the local coffee shop, hey, how are you going to set up your pitching rotation for the playoffs? In Freddie's mind, nothing has been decided yet, and he's right about that. There's a lot to play for still. Division race, the best record race. But we can speculate about that, and I would imagine, guys, it depends on whom the Braves would play in the first round. Who goes first in rotation?
You know, that's part of it. You know, lefty-righty matchups, obviously, and then you factor in who pitches really well at home, who pitches up well on the road. You know, which that might be a part of it too. You know, I'd have to look at more in depth in some of our guys' numbers on the road and see if one's any better on the road than another. But
Blanks jammed himself, and Chris Johnson throws him out.
I want to say Minor's numbers are better on the road.
I'll check for you guys.
You know, you might. Not again. I'm not saying they would do it because, you know, if you do decide that Chris is your guy and you're going to go out him, you know, with him number one, and in that first series try to get, you know, at least 2 starts out of him, that would be the only way you could do it. But, you know, you also might want to factor in, hey, first 2 games we end up at home, and then we got to go on the road. That first game on the road is going to be a pivotal game one way or the other. Maybe you want to save your Chris Medlin type guy for that game. I mean, so there's a lot that goes into it.
This is Tommy Medica. He's got an infield hit and a ground out tonight.
You always think positively. Well, if you win both the games at home and then you go on the road, then you've got this cushion. Well, that's not always the case.
Right.
So in a best of 5, that first game is so important. But then if you split at home, game 4, all of a sudden, if you're down 2-1 on game 4, who's your starter? Who do you want running that? Who do you want to run out there for that one?
Right.
Because you have 2 must-win games.
Yeah.
To advance.
But I agree. I think in that first series, where it is such a short series, you got to go with whoever you think your best chance is in game 1 and go with it. Because, like you said, if you lose that game, now you got to win 3 out of 4, and that's tough at any time.
Mm-hmm.
Rolled foul at third. Tommy, correct me if I'm wrong. When you pitched here, Bobby Cox didn't really juggle his rotation to set up you guys for, let's say, the National Series. Bobby's philosophy was every game was as important as the next. You sweep Washington but lose 3 in a row to Houston in last place. You just erased all that hard work. That philosophy doesn't really apply in the playoffs, does it?
No, it doesn't. I think you try as best you can to set up what you think your best rotation is for whatever those reasons. Like I said, you know, and again, what we had was a little bit of a luxury. You could plug in anybody as the number 1 guy at times, but I know there were times where, you know, part of the decision-making process for Bobby was, well, who do I want pitching that first game on the road? You know, and that, so, you know, now granted, I think you can make some of those decisions a little bit more based on that information because the guys we had were all so interchangeable. But if you have one guy, I think that is, hey, this guy above all else, this is the one guy we're pinning our hopes on, then I think some of that other stuff goes out the window.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Medica here. And another chance on the left side of the infield. Simmons, 2 out. Fairly or unfairly, I think this particular Braves club most closely matches the 1991 team because of the relative inexperience of the starting rotations in postseason play. So if you can remember, how did the 91 playoffs start for you guys, and what was the decision process between how Bobby Cox stacked you guys in rotation?
Well, I think I pitched game 1, and then it was Smoltz, Avery. God, I can't, you know, I don't remember, but, you know, I think at that stage that year I was, you know, 20-game winner, so maybe that was the reason why I pitched game 1. I don't know. You know, but
that was a 7-game series too.
Right, 7-game series, only 1 series. So I mean, it was a little bit different then. But you know, I've made that comparison a lot with this group and that 91 team. The biggest difference I think for us versus these guys. Yes, we went into that 91 postseason without any playoff experience, but that whole month of September was playoff baseball. I mean, it was a 1-game separation, so every single night we were playing, it was virtually do or die. So I think we got a lot of our, kind of got battle tested a little bit that last month of September. You know, these guys haven't had to play under that duress that we had to play under in September of that year, but still, talent-wise and where they are in their career, there's a lot of similarities to where we were in 91.
We need to do some studying on that. We need to look up how many times you guys had to battle right to the end of the season for the last day or 2 before the postseason started. How many times you had a cushion where you were able to rest guys, and what the end result was for each of those types of finishes, and find out if there was anything to hang your hat on.
Well, I know what, 91 came down to the last game of the year and we lost in the World Series. 92, I think we had a little bit of a cushion, lost in the World Series. 93 was the year with the Giants where we made the crazy comeback.
And I think you guys were
worn out. We were emotionally worn out.
Yeah.
You know, lost in the NLCS that year. And then I think the year we won, I think we had a decent lead.
I think you did too.
So, I mean, I think we had virtually every scenario going in. But again, I think that, you know, if you have if you had your choice, I think every team would opt for clinching a little bit early and then being able to set up their rotation and give their guys some rest and keep them healthy.
Nick Hundley's the hitter with 2 outs. And he grounds to short. Fascinating look inside the numbers. How many times did the Braves win the division by 3 games or less? How many times do they win it by double digits? We'll answer that for you when we come back after the 7th inning stretch with Atlanta up by 2. Not of offense, but enough for Chris Bedlin, who's been brilliant over 7 innings.
He's been good. Erlin was good. I like that kid. I like his makeup. I like his stuff. Got a chance to be pretty good. And then Chris Johnson and Freddie Freeman continuing to do their thing. Chris Johnson with a big 2-out RBI. Freddie Freeman with a solo home run. So a lot of good stuff.
Well, you never know.
Already planning ahead to next spring. Brad Boxberger, 5th time he's been called up this year by the Padres from Tucson. Went 2-4 in AAA with a 3.61 ERA.
And he delivers a strike to B.J. Upton. All right, let's continue our discussion about the size of the lead when the Braves won their 14 division titles. You won by a game in 91, by a game in 93, and by a game in 2000.
I forgot about that year. That's right.
You won the division by 2 games twice in 2001 and 2005. You had a 6.5 game lead, a couple of 8 game leads, a couple of 10 game leads, a 19 gamer, and the best was the 21 game lead in 1995, and we all know how that season ended up.
Oh, there you go. There's the key. Win the division by more than 20.
Yep.
I forgot we had won 3 times by 1 game. And how many by 2?
2001 and 2005.
So 5 years we won by two games or less, which goes to show you why sometimes when you hear, wow, it's just a game in July, what difference does it make? Well, you never know.
Upton takes a leadoff walk. Well, the best was the 93 season. The Braves won 104 games. The Giants won 103, and you beat them by 1.
Yeah, and that'll be the last year of that pennant race type of thing with the wild card the way that it is now, but I still like it.
Chris Medlin will stay in the game, and he'll bat with B.J. Upton at first and nobody out. Chris has struck out twice tonight. So you don't have, or do you have a preference, or did you have a preference going into postseason play? I guess a one-game victory is a lot tougher than maybe winning by 6, but.
Now, if you had your preference, I'd rather have a little bit of a cushion, because it makes so many things easier. You know, you can set up your rotation, you can get your guys healthy. From a personal standpoint, as players, you can plan more. You can start taking care of details to get people in town for playoff games and all that. And you'd be surprised how stressful all that stuff is on the players. So, I mean, it just having a little bit of a cushion and clinching, I think, just makes it a little bit easier across the board.
So then for the casual fan who wonders, okay, a little bit of a cushion. The 1995 season notwithstanding, a big cushion, is that a big liability for a club going into postseason play?
It can be, but I don't think it would be for this group of guys. And I don't think it was for us. I mean, I've said it so many times. I think the one thing you guard against when you have a lead is that you get lazy and don't play the game the right way. That wasn't the case for the group of guys that we had. We had enough veteran guys that you went out there night in and night out and tried to play the game the right way. Doesn't mean we always did it, but you tried to keep that part of the game in sync so that you had it going into the postseason.
There's an example of playing the game the right way. Medlin gets down a bunt.
Left-handed.
Yep.
And a perfect sacrifice has Upton in scoring position. Chris gets the high five. And it is trivia time, with Atlanta threatening again in the 7th. Our AT&T U-verse question again. Name the only Padre in their franchise history with a 25-homer, 25 stolen base year. I'm going with Dave Winfield.
I'm going to go with Tommy's choice.
You're going to go with Cameron?
Yeah.
All right, then I got to go with somebody else then. I had a couple other guys sneak into my mind. Klesko or Reggie Sanders maybe. I don't know if,
Caminiti steal 25?
I don't know. I'm going to go Reggie Sanders.
Okay, we'll get to the answer here after the pitch. There's a strike, and the answer is Reggie Sanders in 1999.
Thank you. And I don't even want to hear it because I haven't looked at my phone, so I don't want to hear it.
1 ball, 1 strike. And way outside, it's 2-1. You do that in that ballpark in San Diego, or at least half your games are out in San Diego with that marine layer and the big dimensions. That's some kind of season. We lead at second for B.J. Upton. And Elliott Johnson fouls one back, 2-2. Phillies 4, Washington 1, top of the 7th at Nationals Park. Cardinals are losing 2-0 to Seattle tonight. Runners giving the Cardinals offense fits at Busch Stadium. Cardinals won last night on a wild pitch in extra innings. Excuse me, it was a pass ball in extra innings.
Yeah, it was, the catcher was just trying to frame the pitch and boxed it.
That's the kid Zunino.
Yeah. Of course, he had hit a home run off Wainwright earlier in the game for their only run.
And Elliott Johnson takes a walk. Boxberger's come in and has been wild.
Yeah, he's kind of a slinger. I'm sure the right-handers have a hard time picking him up. Low to mid-90s with his fastball and a change-up and a slider, but boy, does a short arm action and kind of just slings it at you.
2 more hits for Justin Upton tonight. And remember, the first hit was a little broken bat flare into right field. And I said at the time, when he starts hitting the ball that way, that usually means he's ready to go on a hot streak. It would be nice to see. 34 multi-hit games for Justin Upton. And Anthony's a called strike.
Maybe what gives me that impression about Boxberger is that it's apparent, or at least just glancing from our angle, Tom, it's like his stride to the plate is real short and throws across his body even with that. It's a real short step.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Fly ball shallow right. Denorfia is under it. 2 outs. And here's the man of the night, Freddie Freeman, 3 for 3. His last at bat gave him 99 RBIs.
They've got a lefty in their bullpen, Tommy Lane, ready to go. Because so far, Freddie has been too tough to handle for him tonight.
So Boxberger will be taken down after issuing 2 walks, one to B.J. Upton, the other to Elliott Johnson. We told you how well Freddie hits left-handed pitchers. We'll break that down for you and tell you about the new San Diego hurler when we come right back. Part by Georgia Power, by Crown Royal, and by AT&T. It's 2-0 Atlanta. They are threatening again here in the home 7th. 2 on, but 2 out. And Freddie Freeman is going to stand in against left-hander Tommy Lane.
Fastball, slider, changeup. Fastball, slider, curveball for Lane. Fastball in the low 90s. This is his 4th stint with the big club. Up and down from Tucson. I hope they got good airfare.
I'm saying.
From Tucson to San Diego. The way they were calling him up and sending him down. Interesting, though, that he's been brought in to pitch to Freddie with 2 on, because in the big leagues, lefties are hitting him at a 350 clip, 7 for 20 with a homer and a couple of walks. At Tucson, they hit him at an almost 250 average.
So Freddie has done great work at home. We'll show you what we're talking about on our Home Depot tools from the dugout.
MVP. 65 out of 99 here at Turner Field.
Freeman against left-handed pitching this year. 275 average. 160 at bats, only 35 strikeouts. And with runners in scoring position, hitting over 430 this season. 2 balls, no strikes.
Again. Base hit earlier tonight on a 3-0 count. Told you he's 4 for 5 on 3-0 counts with 17 walks.
I'm guessing the light is green here.
I'm guessing it is too, but I still will be surprised if he swings.
He was swinging, and it's fouled away. 3-1 count now. Gaddis on deck.
3-1 count. Got one to play with here if you want. And he started, Freddie, with 2 curveballs. Ball 1 inside, ball 2 outside. I think I'm going to sit on that inside curveball right here from Freddie and spit on anything else.
Yeah, I would think if he saw it early, that's the pitch I think they can get him out with.
A breaking ball, inner half, and he took it for a full count. So Upton and Elliott will lead from second and first, and they'll be off with a pitch.
Well, see if he trusts himself to do it again. 2 in a row.
He did, and it missed. He tried the same pitch in the same spot, and Freeman took it to load the bases.
Hundley liked that call, that pitch. He was holding it there.
I'm not sure where it missed, if it missed.
Only thing it missed was the target.
Yeah.
So the Braves have 3 bases on balls in the inning, and Bud Black has no choice but to go and get a right-hander to face Evan Gaddis. Lane couldn't retire Freeman. The game on the bases for the Braves, who lead 2-0. His turn. He'll bat with a Brave at every base in the 7th, with Atlanta up 2-0, and Dale Thayer on to pitch.
Gonna have to tune it up for this guy. 94, 95 fastball, slider. Pretty much those are the only 2 pitches he features, and he's done a good job of stranding base runners this year. 23% have scored. That's 13th best in the National League. 30 inherited runners, only 7 have scored. Evan Gaddis this year 4 for 7 with the bases loaded, and chip, a double, and a home run included.
That'll work. 3 walks in the inning, and Gaddis digs in and takes a strike. Getting off speed at 84 miles an hour. Slider, strike 2.
Inside and outside, 2 good breaking balls.
Yeah, I don't know if he meant to do it on that first one, having it finish inside, but it sure set up that one pretty well.
Line out of play. Good cut. Gaddis chased a high fastball and is retired on 4 pitches. Atlanta loads the bases on 3 walks but cannot add to their lead. It's 2-0 as we head to the 8th. Bases, but could not add to their 2-0 lead. Nightly on Fox Sports Live. Join Jay Onright and Dan O'Toole along with Donovan McNabb, Andy Roddick, and Carissa Thompson as they bring you all the scores, news, and highlights you need. Catch Fox Sports Live nightly on Fox Sports 1. 2 changes for the Braves. Evan Gaddis is taken down. Justin Upton moves from right field to left. And Jordan Schaefer has taken over for Justin in right. 9-1-2 on the Padres lineup card coming up. And this is former Brave Mark Kotsay.
Saw Mark before the ball game tonight, and he was talking about how him winding up in San Diego at the end of his career was just the perfect thing for him because that's where he lives. It's been a great experience for him professionally because it's a good place to play. He loves Buddy Black, and of course being close to his family.
Mark played 88 games with the Braves in 2008. He had 6 homers. He had 17 doubles. And was traded to the Boston Red Sox midway through that season. And a swing and a miss retires Kotsay. Mark wanted to know if that was a strike, and I don't think it was. Medlin gets a big first out in the 8th inning. I like the fact that he's back out there. He wants to pitch deeper. And Chris up to 106 pitches on the night. Here's Venable.
I think that's 17 out of his last 20 he set down. And 2 of those that reached were on walks.
Great crowd tonight. Was bigger than last night by a good bit. 40,153. That'll push the Braves over 2.3 million in attendance this year. And they have 8 home dates left. Swing and a miss by Venable. There'll be a big crowd here for the final Friday against the Philadelphia Phillies. And if you have the major plans to join us, hope you'll come on down tomorrow. It's Bark in the Park Day at Turner Field. As Will Venable reaches out and pokes one into shallow left center field. And that'll bring the potential tying run to the plate for the Padres. And that's going to be the last pitch of the night for Chris Medlin. 7 1/3 innings of shutout ball tonight for Chris. He's pitching great baseball, and this crowd in Atlanta applauds the effort.
Chris Medlin, we talked about him in pregame about how well he's been pitching, the role he's been on, and where he is going into the postseason. And tonight was no different. Had his fastball command that Rogers spoke of, and what's really turned him around. Made his off-speed pitches better. Had a good changeup tonight. Good breaking ball. Had the ground ball working, which is always a great sign for Chris. And really went out there tonight and just continued to do what he's been doing for his last 8 or 9 starts, and really has established himself as, I think, the lead guy here coming down the stretch and going into the postseason.
Agreed.
So Chris will give way to David Carpenter. He answers the call to the bullpen and has Chris Denorfia and Jed Jerko lurking on the Padre lineup card.
3rd straight day for David. 2/3 of an inning last night. Gave up a sacrifice fly to Denorfia.
Runner goes. The pitch is strike. The throw to second. Not in time. So Venable swipes second.
Good catch and release by Brian McCann, but the throw was short.
So Venable's in scoring position. And the Padres tonight trying to do what they did last night, score late inning runs against the Braves pen. Well, the runner at second belongs to Chris Medlin. 2-0 is our score. And a 1-1 count. And caught the inside edge, 1-2.
Carpenter's last 26 games has a 1.71 ERA.
To first, Freddie Freeman's there. Runner to third, 2 out.
Time for Georgia Power Energy tip number 14. Romero Pena, number 14. Georgia Power customers can receive a $50 rebate with the purchase of any Energy Star certified washing machine. For more information, visit georgiapower.com/appliance rebates.
Once again, it's the Battle of Morgantown, West Virginia. Carpenter versus Jerko. David won the battle last night. Got him to ground out. And he's going to get him to fly out to center. And that's going to end the San Diego 8th inning. Chris Medlin, shutout ball through 7 1/3 innings. The Braves look for some insurance, up 2-0.
Fans, Braves fans, September 26th through the 29th versus the Phillies is Fan Appreciation Weekend. Don't miss all the surprises in store, including a Mystery Gate giveaway Thursday the 26th for the first 15,000 fans and other great prizes all series long. Purchase your tickets now at braves.com/tickets. Mystery Gate giveaway.
That might be where the fan gets the gift that is the answers to all the trivia questions.
Could be.
Not that we need them because
No, I mean,
we're on a roll.
Might be one of those gifts that just keeps on giving, too.
Could be.
This is Brad Brock. His 30th game. And not a bad idea. McCann tried to bunt with a shift on.
Fastball slider split finger pitch for Mr. Brock. Throws low to mid 90s.
Brad lives in Nashville in the offseason. He's a nice story. A 42nd round pick out of Monmouth University. Had a good year last year for the Padres. Averaged more than a strikeout per inning.
Yeah, only Gregerson had more appearances out of the pen last year than this guy.
Talk all the time about guys that are first round, second round picks. I love seeing the guys that are drafted follow guys. 42nd round choices. How hard they had to work just to get noticed and then get to the big leagues. And Brock did that with great early work in his first 3 professional seasons. He gets McCann to ground out for the first out of the inning. This guy saved 115 games in his first 4 minor league seasons. Now working in a setup role for Buddy Black's ball club. 1 out. 2 more hits for Chris Johnson. That pumps his batting average back to .330. We'll update you on Michael Kadyr's work. Colorado's in Arizona tonight and trailing 2-0 in the 5th. Kadir started play tonight with a pretty sizable lead in the batting title chase. 7 points.
Well, even if he just holds his own, Chris has made a move on him tonight.
And here is the batting average race up to the minute. Kadyr's down a couple points. Johnson's up a couple points. Kadyr's 0 for 2 tonight.
Perfect. Going in the right direction.
There you go. Got a hitter's count now. 3 balls and a strike. Fly ball well hit center field. Venable sprinting, still going back, and is on the warning track, and he makes the play.
Not kidding you, the wind just got up enough to really knock that ball down, especially in that opening between the scoreboard and the left field stands, because Chris put a pretty good charge into that.
Well, right in line with our discussion earlier about this being a pretty fair ballpark. That's one I think that I thought was gone.
Me too.
But you're right, Joe. That wind picked up a little bit and just knocked it down a touch.
I'm no outfield expert, but I've been real impressed with the way Venables played center field in this series. We saw him a lot in right field, as Joe said earlier, in years past, and this season with San Diego. He started the night with a spectacular diving grab to Rob Elliott. Now Anderson Simmons hits one toward the right field corner. He's going to challenge Denorfia's arm. The throw back to the infield cut off. Anderson's joined the hit parade with a double.
He earned that. He hit a deep fly. Remember, Blanks caught on the warning track earlier tonight. His last time up, he hit a drive to right that drove Denorfia back right in front of the Braves bullpen. He hit 2 balls on the nose, nothing to show for it, so a little slicer to right. He's got a double.
24 doubles for Edwardson this year. And here's B.J. Upton. He's seen the ball well tonight. 2 walks and a fly out in the 5th inning. Strike 1. Braves pitcher spot is due next. With that in mind, Joey Trdoslavich has grabbed the bat. Upton can reach. Joey will hit, and then we'll await Craig Kimbrell for the top of the ninth. Good eye, 2-2.
Yeah, he is seeing the ball better tonight, Chip. That's a good observation, because that was a pitch there that he, behind in the count, oftentimes will offer at.
So from 0-2 to a full count. Washington has come storming back, by the way. Phillies 5, Washington 4, and the Nationals are still hitting in the 7th. Here it's 2-0 behind Chris Medlin and David Carpenter. Upton walks for a third time tonight. Get after our ball game. AT&T Live, or AT&T will present Braves Live. We'll hear from Freddie Gonzalez. We'll get sound from the locker room, and we will enjoy tonight's highlights. Trdoslavich will be announced as the Braves pinch hitter. So, fellas, on a night where the Braves offense hasn't lit up the scoreboard, some real positive signs. Freddie Freeman hit a home run. He's got a 3-hit game. Justin Upton singled to right, has 2 hits, and has scored a run. And B.J. Upton, for the second time this year, has earned a 3-walk game. Last June 5th against the Pirates.
One of those was a leadoff walk, too, back in the 3rd inning, and had second base stolen if Chris Medlin hadn't tried to continue to bunt with 2 strikes. He ultimately was picked off. But good to have him on base. His speed on base 3 times tonight.
Let's get Joey a hit. It's been a while for him. Can't imagine how tough it is to be a guy in Trdoslavic's situation, playing every day at AAA, and then has to pinch hit in the major leagues and produce. He's 0 for his last 16 with the big league club, after hitting .318 with 18 home runs at AAA.
Well, that's a good learning experience for him. That's a tough role, and might be something he's got to do more and more.
Nice stop by Hundley. 2-1.
I don't know that you can figure there's going to be too much of an opportunity in this Braves outfield. So you take your opportunities up here any way you can get them and try to make the most of it.
That's bounced foul, and Joey broke his bat. Joe, how'd you handle this assignment? This was kind of your role in your early days in the big leagues, wasn't it?
Well, until I would get to the on-deck circle and I'd hear Lasorda go, "Joe, come back here a minute." It was, for anybody that pinch hits, it's not an easy thing. And you hope that you know the guy that's out there and that you've seen him before and have a few at-bats under your belt. That's not the case when you're a rookie. You have to rely on your coaches to give you an idea, your teammates to tell you how, another left-handed hitter, for example, how he likes to pitch him. And right now, this guy is just burying pitches down and in on him. hoping he swings over the top of one. I think that got a little bit of shin guard. I hope it did. Judging from the look on his face, it did not.
Full count.
This has happened a lot tonight. That's why the frustrated look on the face of Buddy Black. They've had a lot of Braves hitters behind in the count and walked them.
They've issued 5 walks so far tonight, yet none of them have scored for Atlanta. Let's see if Terdoslavich can change that. Full count. Simmons and Upton, the Braves runners. There they go. And another walk. Atlanta's got them loaded again. San Diego walked the bases loaded in the 7th. A double and back-to-back walks after 2 are out. Sets it up for the top of the order at Elliott Johnson. Elliott's 1 for 3 with a walk. He's also stolen a base. And with his good work since joining the Braves, he's got his overall season batting average up to .201. And considering where it was in the American League, gives you an idea of how productive he's been since putting on a National League uniform. He's behind now, 0-2.
Well, that might be to his advantage now.
If you think that the Padres are probably running out of pitchers, you forget that. You got 10 guys in their bullpen for September.
Elliott chased a high fastball, and that retires the side. Brock was shaky, but did not surrender an insurance run. 2 ought to be enough for Craig Kimbrell. Atlanta fans are hoping so. He'll try to save it for Chris Medlin as we go to inning number 9. That tells you all you need to know. Craig Kimbrell is ready to save the game for Atlanta and starter Chris Medlin.
He's already set a club record for most consecutive saves, 36 straight. broke a record that John Smoltz had back in 2002 and 2003. 46 out of 49 on the year. Just ridiculous numbers, and certainly a Cy Young candidate. His last 46 outings, which covers 46 and a third innings, he's given up 1 run. 1. It's an 0.19 ERA. That's a bingo ERA. 66 strikeouts in those 46 and a third innings. 22 hits allowed.
Watch the first pitch to Chase Headley. He took David Carpenter out last night, and Kimbrel missed outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Oh, excuse me, it was Jordan Walden last night. Beg your pardon. $11 homers, 42 RBIs for Headley. He's a little late. Tommy, you were a starting pitcher in your big league career. Is there a perceived bias among starting pitchers for relief pitchers winning the Cy Young Award?
I don't think so. I mean, I think starting pitchers obviously have the inside track, but if nobody's established himself as that kind of guy, then it's an open field.
Fly ball belted deep right. It wasn't the first pitch, but the third. Headley hits a solo home run, and it's a 1-run game.
Headley's making a real pest of himself. Better at be leading off, though, than later in the inning with somebody on. Boy, he just golfed one out of here.
Pretty similar pitch to the one he hit out of here last night.
So now Craig's got to really pitch. He's got a 1-run lead, and Kyle Blank's up there. Strike 1. 12 homers for Headley. 11 of them have been solo shots. Blanks tonight 1 for 3. And right on by. 1 away in the 9th.
That home run by Headley, the 4th he's allowed this year. 2 of them came in that game in Cincinnati.
Those were back-to-back against the Reds. As Tommy Medica bats. And he takes outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Another 1-run game with the Padres. This time, though, the Braves on the winning end. They need 2 more outs. And 1. Ronnie Cedeno is the on-deck batter. Got Blanks with a high fastball. Let's see what he has in mind with the rookie Medica.
It needs to be a strike. He was ahead of blanks and had the luxury of elevating, but 3-2, he's got to be on the plate.
For the second out. And Cedeno, the final hope for the Padres.
Well, he's strong in his lower half, isn't he, Tom?
Yeah, he uses his legs as well as anybody is, and really picture perfect in what you're trying to see a pitcher do with his legs.
1-0 to Ronnie Cedeno.
That home run he allowed tonight was the first since those 2 homers in Cincinnati.
Really?
Cedeno 0 for 3 in his career against him with 2 strikeouts.
Can't dial it in quite yet. 15 pitches, 7 balls. One of the strikes ended up in the right field seats off the bat of Chase Headley. And Cedeno nearly got drilled. He takes 4 wide ones and will trot to first base, representing the tying run. Nick Hundley will be the hitter. The Padres will bring on Raymond Fuentes to pinch run. And the stolen base is a big part of the San Diego game. Third in the National League in steals, and they have the most stolen bases in the game since the start of the 2010 year.
They're trying to win games, obviously, but they got nothing to lose. They could take a chance and send the guy.
Well, I think if you're Craig, you want to keep that in your mind. You want to try and keep that guy honest over there. But the bottom line is you got to keep your focus on the hitter. You got to make quality pitches.
Hundley's never faced him.
1. Crowd thought that was a strike. Was it?
No.
Used to be.
In the minor leagues coming into this year, Fuentes has stolen 127 of 160 stolen base drives. And he's the younger cousin of Carlos Beltran of the Cardinals. Got good baseball bloodlines. 1 ball, 1 strike to Hundley.
Outfielders playing deep? You bet they are. Seeding singles.
Runner goes. The pitch, a ball. The throw to second is late. And Fuentes has his 3rd stolen base. Now a single could tie the game.
Ryan just tried to come out of there firing without shifting his feet that time. But Fuentes outran the baseball. Another short hop that causes the glove to have to come up and give the runner a chance to get under it.
Roller toward third. Chris in, up, across. Braves win. Kimbrel saves his 37th consecutive game, his 47th of the year. And he saves it for Chris Medlin, who pitched 7 1/3 innings of 4-hit shutout ball tonight. The Braves got RBI hits from Chris Johnson and a home run from Freddie Freeman. And with the victory tonight, they trim their magic number in the East to just 5 games. 2-1 Atlanta, your final score. Back to talk more about it with you after this.